What exactly is mistletoe, and why the heck are we supposed to be swapping spit under it?
Yeah.
This is Geek Therapy Radio.
What are we waiting for?
And now your mental curator, Johnny Hamburger.
Welcome to Geek Therapy Radio. As always, I am your mental curator, Johnny Hamburger. Make sure you're subscribed to this podcast so you can geek out with me every week. And if you're watching on YouTube, and if you like this video, I'd appreciate if you'd consider subscribing as I make my march towards 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. If by the time you're watching this, I already have 1,000 subs, thanks for helping me towards my next benchmark. I really do appreciate it, and I'm not just saying that. As long as I have traditional sponsors for my terrestrial radio show, I'll never directly ask my audience for money through a service like Patreon. Nothing against it, just in my mind, it wouldn't be ethical to double dip. To personally read an ad and then ask you to support the show? Nah. So yeah, all the support I ask of you is just to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, both, or, neither. I'm not a cop, just a nerd. I know there's competition, and I know you don't have to subscribe, so I really appreciate it. On to mistletoe. Mistletoe is actually a parasitic plant. That is, it feeds off the nutrients and water of a host plant. Usually the host is a tree of some sort. Mistletoe itself is an evergreen. That is, it doesn't lose its color in the fall or any time of the year like deciduous trees do in the fall when their leaves turn color and then fall off. Nope. Mistletoe's green year-round. There are actually many different species of mistletoe, and 20 of those species can be found on the endangered species list. Yeah, 20. I didn't even know there was that many species of mistletoe to begin with, let alone have enough that 20 of them are on an endangered species list.
A gun rack? A gun rack. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack.
I wonder if that's because certain species of mistletoe favor certain species of other host plants that are also endangered? I mean, probably. It at least sounds reasonable and plausible. Isn't being a geek great? Learning things you never knew, to ask questions you never knew, and then come up with hypotheses you never otherwise would have hypothesized. I wonder how much water I've wasted on shower thoughts following these types of rabbit trails. Probably enough to endanger at least one species of mistletoe. I'm sorry, little guy. I'll never bathe again. What's that? Oh, I should? No. Sarah wants me to bathe, so I guess I've been overruled. Sorry, little guy. Anyway, so why do we kiss under mistletoe? Where did that tradition come from? And when will that tradition become politically incorrect or socially unacceptable? Well, I can't offer any specific insight into that last question, but I can shed some light on the tradition of kissing under the tiny shrub. Many a history buff actually believe the tradition started in ancient Norse mythology. As legend has it, after Balder, I hate that name, was killed by an enemy arrow made of mistletoe, his goddess mother Frigg wept over him. As she wept, her tears fell onto the arrow made of mistletoe, and her tears turned into white berries. Then she took those white berries, put them in Balder's arrow wound, which brought him back to life. Balder's mother Frigg was of course overjoyed at the resurrection of her dead son, and thus she blessed the mistletoe plant and promised to kiss anybody who was standing underneath it. Since Christmas is actually a hodgepodge of traditions coalesced from many different myths and cultures, this Norse explanation is as good as any. I'm fairly well versed with the Bible, and don't recall Rudolph anywhere in the manger, or, for that matter, the Coca-Cola polar bears anywhere within thousands of miles of Bethlehem. I think really what this tradition boils down to, and why it's so fondly observed and passed down from generation to generation, is simply that it aligns so well with the season. Peace on earth, goodwill towards all of humanity, and being close to loved ones. You can't get much closer or symbolize love much better than with a kiss. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and short video. If you'd like to consider subscribing, the appropriate button is nearby. And until next time, be good to each other all year round, including yourself. And as always, find your geek thing and embrace it. Take care, everybody.